I see 2 offices of audit and control.
Yes.
Petros, if you raise your hand for me, I'll know which one is you, and then I'll, not that way. Raise your hand using the raise your hand feature, so I can make you co-host.
I just changed my name. Can you see that, Danielle?
I see 2 offices of audit and control. And
Are you still seeing 2, Danielle?
I'm good now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll give Petros a moment just to get the agenda up. And in terms of meeting participants, I think we're waiting for Council President Ellis. However, we do have enough participation for quorum. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. We have a pretty long agenda today, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So good afternoon, and welcome to today's Board of Estimate and Apportionment meeting. The date is Friday, September 10th, 2021. The time is 1:32 p.m. Present is myself, Dr. Dorcia Pleers, Chief City Auditor. Also from my office is our Deputy Chief City Auditor, Petros Hyla, who's been working with me constantly on how to best pronounce his last name. We also have our City Treasurer, Darius Shamfar.
For the record, you pronounce my name quite well.
Thank you, Darius. We also have our Acting Budget Director, Nick Blaze, our Lead Attorney for the City, Marisa Franchini, and that is it at the moment. I just also want to acknowledge we have our auditor from my office, Michelle Andre, who is sitting in today. All right, so let's jump right into the agenda. Okay, so we have quite a few budget transfer requests. I'm going to go through them as quickly as possible. And feel free to stop me with any questions, and then we can get into the additional agenda items that we have. So the first 2021 budget transfer request is coming from Administrative Services. They are requesting to move $27,500 from their workers' compensation line into 2 separate accounts. Their temporary help line in the amount of $17,500 and their Social Security line in the amount of $10,000, again totaling $27,500 to cover temp help expenses for the remainder of 2021. Second request, again from Administrative Services, requesting to transfer $9,000 from their workers' compensation line to their contracted services line to cover DigSafe expenses. Any questions regarding those budget transfer requests? The next request is from DGS. DGS is requesting to move a total of $80,000 from two accounts into two separate accounts. So the first would be transferring $40,000 from their salaries line and another $40,000 from their temporary help line. Those funds would then be transferred into their motor vehicle expense account and contracted services account to cover current and future invoices. And you'll see quite a few of these examples as we begin to close out the year and departments are starting to close out invoices. So we have quite a few of these requests. The second, again, is from DGS, seeking to transfer $6,000 from their processing fee account to their contracted services account, again, to cover current and future invoices. Next, again, from DGS, we have a request to transfer $50,000 from two accounts, salaries / fleet maintenance in the amount of $20,000 and their salary / parks maintenance account in the amount of $30,000. This would be going into three separate accounts. The first is supplies and materials in the amount of $20,000. The second is their small engine maintenance account in the amount of $10,000. And lastly, their motor vehicle expense account in the amount of $20,000, again, totaling $50,000 to cover current and future invoices. The next request is from our fire department, seeking to transfer $25,000 from their EMS expense account to their supplies and materials account to cover supplies and material costs. The next set of requests come from our law department. The first is a request to transfer $2 million from the city's unassigned fund balance to the city's judgments and claims account. And Marisa, just to clarify, the $2 million request, the initial, the amount is coming from the city's unassigned fund balance, but then will be transferred to a judgment and the claims account in the law department's budget.
Yeah, the settlements and judgments account actually isn't within the law department's budget, correct, Nick? It's kind of a separate account that's used to pay judgments and claims, but that is correct.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the clarity. And so this is to cover a legal settlement, which we'll get into later. And the second request from the law department is a budget transfer request in the amount of $20,000 from the judgments and claims account to their contracted services account to cover costs for the remainder of 2021. All right. The next request is from the mayor's office, seeking to create a temporary help account. And so they are looking to transfer $6,000, the mayor's office, $6,000 to create this new temporary help account. The next is a request. Now, Petro, just for clarity, street lighting.
Yeah, so they have their own GL account information, so it's not under any particular city department.
Okay, thank you. That request is in the amount of $17,200 to be transferred from the utilities account to the contracted services account to cover costs associated with maintenance and storage. The next several requests come from the police department. The first, a request in the amount of $18,600 to be transferred from their training and conference line to their other equipment line to cover TASER contract expenses for 2020. This is a past due invoice that needs to be settled. The next, again, is from the police department, a request in the amount of $12,300 coming from three separate accounts. The first is the supplies and materials account. I'm sorry, that's two separate accounts, excuse me. The first is supplies and materials in the amount of $7,300. The second is the contracted services account in the amount of $5,000. And those funds will be transferred into their other equipment account to cover a vehicle lift at the Vetranos Secure Lot, as well as a forensic bullet trap. The next request, again from APD, requesting $149 be transferred from their furniture and fixtures account to their supplies and materials account to cover the purchase of supplies in booking. The next request, $5,000 is being requested to be transferred from APD's contracted services account to their training fund to cover the purchase of textbooks for training of their communications personnel and I'm assuming personnel in the 911 centers. Our next set of requests, before I move on to the next set of requests from the water department, any questions pertaining to the requests put forth by APD? Okay, moving on to our request from the water department. So the first request is in the amount of $300,000. They are seeking to transfer these funds from their contracted services / sewer maintenance account to their contracted services / transmission and distribution account to cover reclass of water and sewer aspect of their Keller standby contract. And we have someone from water here just to, I'm gonna just articulate what my understanding is. And Tom, if you're on, you can clarify. So there is, to my understanding, there's a one contract, Tom, in which there are funds that are focused specifically on sewer related projects, and those funds are now being, the $300,000 that I mentioned are now being transferred for water specific projects.
That's correct.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, moving along. The next request again from water is a request in the amount of $35,000 being transferred from their contingency account to the contracted services account to replenish contracted services accounts so that invoices for the remainder of the year will be covered. The next request again from water is a request in the amount of $1,000 from their gasoline account to their fuel oil account to replenish fuel, to replenish this account again so that they can cover the remaining invoices for this year. Okay, so the next two items listed here from water, the first is a request in the amount of $23,000 being transferred from water's contingency account to their motor vehicle expense account. Again, this is to replenish funds in that expense account to cover invoices for the remainder of the year. And that is the same for this next request, which is in the amount of $1,500, requesting that those funds be moved from their gasoline / transmission and distribution account to their gasoline / source of supply power account. All right, so let's see. We have our last two budget transfer requests coming from water. The first in the amount of $15,000 being transferred from their contingency account to their printing and binding account to replenish, again, funds in this said account to cover invoices for the remainder of the year. And that would be the case for this last request from water, which is a request in the amount of $50,000 being transferred from their contracted services / source of supply power account to their contracted services / special items account. Any questions about the budget transfer request from the water department? Petros.
Hey, Dorsey, I just want to say before we move over to increase appropriations, we received one more budget transfer that's associated with a common council resolution that I would like to share with the board.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so if I'm reading this correctly, this request is coming from the budget department. It is a request in the amount of $15,455. That amount would be transferred from the workers' comp account and transferred to the admin salaries account. And Nick, what I'm going to do, since this request just came in, I'm going to turn the floor over to you just to confirm that that is the gist of this request.
Sure, yeah, and thank you for getting this one on in time. I would have sent this more in advance, but this was approved last night, I think a little ahead of what some of us were expecting, so that was good news. This just reflects the salary change that was listed in the resolution. This is just money to cover the increase in cost for the HR director. This would be a mid-year salary change.
Thank you. Any questions pertaining to this request? All right, thank you, Nick, and thank you, Petros. So we are moving on to increase appropriation. We only have one item here, and this is from DGS. I just want to say congratulations to you all for receiving a grant from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. So DGS has received this grant in the amount of $120,000. So as a result, you'll see there is an expected increase in revenue, and as a result of that, an increase in expenses in the same amount of $120,000. Moving on to our legal settlements. And so the one settlement item is, and I'll just read here, there are some attachments that each of you should have already received. And it's attachments pertaining to the settlement of all claims for Mr. Carl Dukes. And this settlement is in the amount of $5.75 million. And what I will do is turn the floor over to Marisa to just provide additional context for this particular settlement.
Sure, thanks, Dorothy. This case has been very public. If anyone has been reading the news, there's been articles over the past several years about this case from the time it was filed up until just this week when we announced that we had come to an agreement on settlement. So hopefully everyone has seen those stories and knows a little bit about the background. But just to give you a brief overview, this gentleman was wrongfully incarcerated for a 20-year period due to some charges that were investigated and pressed by the Albany Police Department. After a lengthy discovery period and negotiation period, this is the amount that we came to agree upon to reimburse or to compensate him for that time he spent in prison due to the alleged behavior of our officers. We did negotiate a staggered payment schedule because of the large amount of the sum. This will be paid out over a 4-year period, with the $2 million payment being made this year, and then subsequently $1 million payments will be made in November of each year. If there are any questions about anything to do with the case or the payment schedule, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Marisa. Are there any questions? All right, thank you for providing that context. We will now transition to our Common Council resolutions and ordinances. We received 1 ordinance and 4 resolutions with budget implications. And so, again, we received these recently. And so to do them justice, I'm going to go through them and then I'll turn the floor over to you, Danielle, to provide any additional context. Okay, so the first ordinance is Ordinance 1321, an ordinance amending Chapter 323, Streets and Sidewalks of the Code of the City of Albany by adding a new Article 7 entitled Small Cell Wireless Facilities in City Rights of Way. The second item here is a resolution number 749121R. This is pertaining to the Human Rights Director position, an increase in salary. So that salary would be increased by $14,347. So the salary would go up to $100,000. And then there's also an increase as a result in Social Security. That increase is in the amount of $1,098. The next resolution is 374221R, a resolution authorizing a right-of-way franchise agreement with Cellco Partnership, DBA, Verizon Wireless, for installation of telecommunications equipment on city-owned rights-of-way. The next is Resolution 344221R, a resolution authorizing a right-of-way franchise agreement with New Singular Wireless PCS, LLC, for installation of telecommunications equipment on city-owned rights-of-way. The next is Resolution number 678121R, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Albany authorizing the execution of an amended payment in lieu of taxes agreement by and between the City of Albany and Steamboat Square Housing Development Fund Corp. And Steamboat 20 LLC. So quickly, I'll turn it over to you, Danielle, to discuss, just to bring up the fiscal impacts.
I don't have any information to add. If anyone has any questions, I'll do my best to ask. If I'm unable to provide an answer, I'll park and lot it and then respond to the committee afterwards. Were there any questions?
Okay. All right, no questions. So if there are no questions, this concludes our agenda for today. May I please request a motion to accept the agenda as is?
So moved.
So moved. That was our
Darius.
Darius Shamfar. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Nick Blaze, our acting budget director. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the motion passes, carries, and we can accept today's agenda as is with no amendments. You all should expect to get that shortly. And then now may I request a motion to close out our meeting today.
So moved.
All right, motion on the floor from City Treasurer Darius Shankar.
Second.
Second from Acting Budget Director Nick Glaze. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So this concludes our meeting today. Thank you all so much for your time and attention and your patience. I'm going to transfer the floor over to our colleagues in the City Clerk's office.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of Board of Contract and Supply. Today is Friday, September 10th, 2021. Present, we have Nicholas Blaze, Darius Shankar, Marisa Franchini, Randy Milano, and Frank Zioli. Our agenda is kind of heavy today as well because we have quite a few bid submissions for our openings. First item, the Department of General Services offered the following three resolutions. Resolved that the secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for bids for the following: Allison medium and heavy duty transmission parts, preventative maintenance and repair. They also offered Bomeg equipment parts, preventative maintenance and repair. And they also offered Caterpillar equipment, preventative maintenance and repair. And all three of those advertisements and proposals, said proposal to be reviewed by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, October 5th, 2021 at 1:30 p.m. The following was offered on behalf of the Albany Police Department. Resolved that the secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for the procurement of police emergency vehicles. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, September 21st, 2020 at 1:30 p.m. The following was offered on behalf of the Albany Water Board. Resolved that the secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for the purchase of waterless fire hydrants. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, September 21st, 2021 at 1:30 p.m. The Water Board also offered resolved that the secretary be authorized and directed to advertise for septic service. Said proposals to be received by the board at a regular meeting to be held Tuesday, September 21st, 2021 at 1:30 p.m. So the first opening we have is for the 2022 water and sewer supplies. First bid submission is from EJ. This is one of the projects that has a list of various supplies. Bid bond included. There is, so they have an attachment A bid sheet. Oh, yeah. So their bid items cover a whole list of things. So these will be attached to the final agenda. at the end of the meeting. The next one is from EJP Round Lake. You gonna help me open? Thank you. Bid bond is included. We will attach their bid submissions to the final agenda. Next, we have Ferguson Waterworks. It's Waterworks. Bid bond included. Attach those results as well. We have FW Web Company. Bid bond included. Attach their results along with the final agenda as well. The final one is TI Sales Inc. They sealed that real good, didn't they? And he's down to, okay. Bid bond is included, and we will also attach their bid submissions to the final agenda. Next opening is for 35 Erie Boulevard, building and site improvements. The first one is from James H. Malloy, Inc. They received all the addendums. Bid bond included. We have a base bid. Lump sum number one, all work except for fence, playland, parking, repaving listed is for $1,435,000. Lump sum number two, repaving of remaining Huckins playland parking lot area with light duty pavement, $150,000. Next, we have Jerson Construction Group. Bid bond included. They received all the addendums. Oh, I may have left something off with James H. Malloy. I apologize, guys. There was a second page. So there's general construction. So for unit price number one, square yard cost for heavy duty pavement, that's $60. Unit price number two is $10. Unit price number three, they have $60. Unit price number four is $50. Unit price number five is $60, and unit price number six is $45. That was for James H. Malloy. So for Jerson Construction Group, lump sum number one, $1,203,000. For lump sum number two, $55,850. For unit price number one is $33. Unit price number two is $7.15. Unit price number three is $55. Unit price number four is $20. Unit price number five is $60. Unit price number 6 is $220. Next, we have Reifenberg Contract and Core. Bid bond included. So lump sum number 1 is $1,639,000. Lump sum number 2 is $113,000. Unit price number 1, $43. Unit price number 2, $18. Unit price number 3, $48. Unit price number 4, $47. Unit price number 5, $64. Unit price number 6, $390. Next, we have DMJR companies. Bid bond included. Lump sum price number 1, $1,654,000. Lump sum number 2 is $108,000. So we have unit price number 1 at $58. Unit price number 2 at $9. Unit price number 3 is $105. Unit price number 4 is $39. Unit price number 5 is $65. Unit price number 6 is $90. And our final opening for this one is from William J. Keller and Sons Construction Corp. Bid bond included. All of them that's received as well. Lump sum number 1 is $1,159,000. Lump sum number 2 is $84,400. Unit price number 1, $38.50. Unit price number 2, $8.42. Unit price number 3, $40. Unit price number 4, $34.61. Unit price number 5, $64. And unit price number 6, $75. That concludes this opening. The next opening, we have purchase and transport of 1 mobile stage. This is from, oh, did we do William J. Keller already? Oh, these are the older ones. Yeah, these were kind of, yeah, this is it. Yeah. So yes, purchase and transport of 1 mobile stage. First, we have Progressive Products, Inc. This one. That one is from the same company. We just added the addendum to this one. Thank you on that one. Official check received. Right here.
Kashana? You're muted. I can't hear you.
Did you hear that last opening?
I don't believe so. I don't believe anybody did.
Did we
Did
miss the
anybody?
stage?
I
Did
thought you were still
did
looking.
everybody get the stage?
No.
All right. You got everything else prior to that, right?
Yes.
All right, so for Progressive products, they had official check is included for the purchase of the stage and all the support, $199,955. The maintenance, they have normal labor rate of $150 per hour, emergency labor rate for $150 per hour. That concludes that. And then we have the one from Stage Line. Official check is included for the purchase, the price for the purchase and all the support for the stage is $234,000, $660. And that includes their transport, training, and other items. Their maintenance, normal labor rate is $85 per hour. Emergency labor rate is $125 per hour. And fee for expedite and delivery, $100 per order per hour. For the sidewalk snow removal and support services, there were no bid submissions. The water department offered 3 change orders, and this will conclude our agenda. The water board, the following resolution was offered on behalf of the Albany Water Board. The Albany Water Board authorizes change order number 1 to the Beaver Creek Clean River Project, Phase 1, 3rd Avenue Improvement Contract with James H. Malloy in the credit amount of $22,000. The new contract amount is $450,000. This will reduce the contract amount to a new value of $450,000. There's no change in the completion date. The Albany Water Board authorizes change order number 2 to the Beaver Creek Clean River Project Phase 4, 3rd Avenue Tunnel Contract with Reifenberg Contracting Corp. In the credit amount of $315,064. This will reduce the contract amount to a new value of $7,574,144. There is no change to their completion date. The Albany Water Board authorizes change order number 6A to the Fiora Bush Water Filtration Plant Sedimentation Building Renovation Project with BMJR Companies for masonry repairs to the West Wall Filtration Plant building. The work will utilize the balance of the available contingency funds and requires an increase to the contract value. The extra work under this contract order will cost $118,996. It will use the remaining $60,579 of the contingency fund and require an additional $58,417 to be authorized for the contract. The new contract value will be $5,300,553. The completion date has also been extended to October 31st, 2021. That concludes the agenda for the Board of Contract and Supply. Is there any discussion? May I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty, may I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
So
Second.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.